Here's a grapefruit to smash in between door seals, and see if it still sticks. The object of stretching the leathered idea to futon and stitches is to hone in a plastic region that you'd like to increase the focus points of further existence, by hopping on serious memory work in doing so, with the utilization of the regarded technique which entails remembering sequences of things to remember. It is as stupid as it sounds to zip up, but hold a hand in glycerin that you remember every day on thing of some sort, like for example what you ingested during mentioned day. Then repeat the same for tomorrow while actively recalling, but now hitting into stone what you've ingested the regurgitated day from before. Then the next day repeat the action of regurgitating all three instances. Then the next day encompass the entire elapsed quad and so on. Relax, don't spill over any containers that shouldn't be spilled, and chill out if waves start coming. No need to surf anything. Where the orange peel gets juicy over the hinge is the following briefly described phenomenon. If you fell into the basket, or rather, got picked into it, the first day's agenda is crystal clear for the entire first day. If you don't try to remember it, it might not be, but thinking after eating that this cannot be forgotten makes it easy to retain until the day's end, without making any forced recall to remember it. Then the next morning the lists still stay tubularly fresh, so the idea seems easy to chain a few more links if actual effort is put into the washing machine, instead of having the treatment done now. So seconds period does its own laundry, and the recall continues over to the evening, where now a few items are on row for having fun with small little ducklings in the kiddie pool. That's super lively with a few inches of water, and a few more inches of duckling inside. And everything still seems pretty clear with things in order and ducklings splashing like it's the first half of June in 2009. To view the image in full size, if you want something to drink from the drum, the triple comes rolling in heat while information still somehow in active recall sharp as a lollipop, and things keep on keeping on the move with the chariot. Then the pickle gets its wings, because somewhere in the general range of 4 to 6 days, the pickle starts getting its wings in the following way. First, every single meal is in memory, and things are cool with order in place. No heat on waves to surf on. Things get lazy and stuff happens in between, because you got fabric to taste and other things to blanket off of. But somewhere along those days, the next day the ducklings are no longer in order and perfectly clear with memory. Instead, the ducklings start running around in erratic sketchable patterns of the described rubber sphere, bouncing around objects, with the return angle not being necessary within a close tolerance of the incidence angle. And also they're smashing their electric guitars over the surrounded mass matter. Cake is everywhere and fabric doesn't how up with treated rice on for when the moon comes up to show that it's time for the fifth and things to start taking a turn inside for the arc. Somehow the days are meals instead, and the wing of the pickle is the way in which things become forgotten by being misplaced. How does the misplacement being to unwind into a scene of the ducklings starting to run around in erratic sketchable patterns of the described rubber sphere, bouncing around objects, with the return angle not being necessary within a close tolerance of the incidence angle. And also them smashing their electric guitars over the surrounded mass matter with cake everywhere and fabric that doesn't how up with treated rice on for when the moon comes up to show that it's time for the fifth and things to start taking a turn inside for the arc. Well, that's precisely what this locker is about. The current situation formed from before doing a flashbang happens as a lump of forgetness, like throwing corn into a shooting range from tadpoles and medium-sized eagles, with hairstyles that fairly rarely change, as compared to their wingspan of signing the documents, bent over the table of sweat, now being a surprise of fabric. Again, from the fabric list of dawn, that very often peaks along the ledge of getting skirt up about it being purple. But that's just the containers leaking. Basically, first you have a full list of maybe 20 plus things, and instead of misplacing on or two, then moving one with those voided links in the chain, the act of noticing that something is missing actually collapses the whole task like it's hit with an attack of design panic, even though the situation itself is as chill as before. So why then does breaking links not happen with the rest of the rectangular wooden piece small scale tower without other adhesives apart from friction to remain still standing with individual holes? That wouldn't smash apart general static balance of the list. Well, time for some delving to be sumerized, because it did some chilling in the electric cave, and besides getting a heavy uplifting magnet that's pretty nifty, I also got some nice zebra about it. So here's the condiments on why the lump dump of more than half happens memorically. For the last thing of such gut stomach, it's that the gut stomach is correct even if you hold the dolphin by the tail and suspend it vertically, that being a different locker dance. What the wings of the pickle solicit over the bento box is that being calm is still a panic that's been seen from before, despite the situation being rather chill too before. The panic just can't breathe because of all the delicious things on the list. However, once breathing starts to turn the meat over a grill, Other things of existing shift the focus of it being easy to get the buy over the pole, and that results in a maintained RAM unit being thrown into cache instead of ramming, where there's more space. So simply having T as a lower effort makes it thrown bin-wise for every other tier of parchment paper. That soaks up the fabric list of Dawn. That means that thinking of a tipped over bridge makes it take a set of those spaces, and the recalling on let go seat takes the seat of another still sitting. But the taken seat is corrupted because of the low effort transfer, since this process stickles as fast as chairs could be bolted on the data. That doesn't want to forget itself from moving into cache. The chain repeats until all the seats change latitude and longitude, with the only exceptions still sitting in sweat being those that left over some sweat from the bent over table exempt for fabric, those that didn't sidetrack when getting jammed up. This differentiates the stages of caching and ramming sweats, to have the wing of the pickles remain bolted down if there was some sweat put into having it remembered, but leaks over if the bends happened outside of the same spot even if there is dried sweat.